As the 2024 season is in full swing here in Illinois, we wanted to take a moment and look back on an unforgettable chapter from last year, the legendary hunt for a buck known as Sippi. So sit back, relax, and join us as we relive the journey to harvesting one of my farm's most iconic bucks. This is the story of Sippi. As we wrapped up preparation for the new season ahead, I had a general idea of what bucks I would be targeting in the fall. However, mid-September, I had a buck show up that I had completely forgotten about and even overlooked. A buck that I had multiple years of history with. Suddenly, my goals for the fall had shifted, and a forgotten legend had been added to the hit list. The story of the buck we called Mississippi Mike, or Sippi for short, started all the way back in 2019. That year, we got him on trail camera for the first time, a 1.5-year-old buck with the craziest, most unique rack we'd ever seen. From that point on, he became a familiar character on the farm. The following shed season, Alex found one of his sheds, adding another chapter to the story. Over the next year, Sippi showed up regularly on our cameras, especially during the rut and late season, making his rounds across the property and growing a little more each season. In September 2023, Sippi finally showed up on the property again, and with the distinctive rack, we knew exactly who he was. At that point, we decided he would be a great, mature buck to harvest as well as a management priority. With the countless trail camera pictures, we were beyond excited to get into the tree stand that October, ready to see if the season would finally bring our long story with Sippi to an unforgettable close.
Alright guys, so we're back. We're back in the main saddle. The set I call the ATM. This spot is always really crazy with a northwest, northeast to straight north wind. These deer really like this field that's got corn this year. And just they use it so heavily, and especially this time of year, bucks like to check these bedding areas and run from corner to corner. So out in the middle of this field, it's about 50 yards. So and there's a huge scrape under me that has been really active. But we've had a lot of pictures of a lot of deer, a lot of bucks using this area, especially that scrape. So tonight, deer cast says great, and so we got back in the stand. We actually hunted deer last night. It was really windy, poured on me twice. Didn't even have time to interview because it was either pouring rain or there were deer in front of me. But historically, this is a great spot. We're hoping we can catch up with the big eight we call Cole. 9 we call Sippi, and actually, crazy enough, right before they combine the corn, on the other side of this ditch in front of me, a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, Young Money was actually hitting a scrape. Now, that's crazy because he usually doesn't show up till the 15th or the 17th, or even the 20th of November. So I was very, very surprised to see him, and it was a great surprise. He's bigger than ever, and but like I said, we're hoping we can get it done right. We got Gage and Sock about 30 miles south on their places, and they've got good wins for their sets, so we're gonna hang tight. It's gonna get interesting.
The evening of October 28th was one of my best sits of the year so far. With young bucks like Big Mac and other young up-and-comers chasing does and feeding in the cut corn, you just couldn't beat it. But deep down, I was really hoping one of my target bucks would show up. Then, with only minutes left of legal shooting light, I glanced to my left, and there he was, Sippi, standing at 65 yards. As Sippi stood staring into the field, I had my bow in hand and I was waiting for him to close the distance in the last couple minutes of legal light. But with the wind dying down and him getting closer to directly downwind of my stand, I could tell he sensed something wasn't right. Time ticked down on my evening sit, and eventually Sippi worked across the field and into the timber. Just like that, my night and my weekend home was over. It was time to head back to college and game plan for the next hunt.
Alright guys, so we're back. We're in this bottom field that I've had a lot of encounters, a lot of trail cam pictures of just bug activity, especially here in the road. So we're supposed to have a southwest wind, but it's kind of getting goofy down in this bottom. I'm not sure what's going on. We're up some evercalm on the tree. Hopefully that'll cover us a little bit. We got this cut bean field and turnip plot that surrounds it. Really a good transition from the bedding, but on the other side of the property, the combine's going hard. They're cutting that up over there. We're gonna go over maybe tomorrow and hang a set and put some cameras up, see what's going on over there. So, yeah, it's super warm. I probably should have worn some of my lighter stuff, but always a good day when you're back in the stand. So hopefully we see some. Stay tuned.
Once I got settled into my tree stand, I finished setting up my camera gear and recording my opening interview, knocked an arrow, and was ready for the night ahead. Sure enough, just as I finished up, I looked across the plot and caught movement. It was Sippi, tearing into a scrape, the first deer out just before 4 o'clock.
base of my tree and then scampered off because I don't think he knew what I was. And I got shot through him. And I saw him run away. I think it's a little back, but up and down wise, I think I got him good. But he got close. Wasn't even shaking because I was just so locked in. But we're gonna get down. We're gonna look at this arrow. Socks on the way. But I'm a little nervous just because it's so far back. But I mean, hey, we just shot a buck. We just shot a buck. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. This is awesome. This is a great feeling. I'm praying that it was a good shot just because he was a little bit quartered away, and I was able to put it kind of. I feel like I was able to slide through, but man, I'm pumped. Let's go.
After waiting a little while longer in the stand, I eventually called Alex and Gage to come help with the track. I got down, checked my arrow, and was disappointed with what I saw. Unfortunately, there was very little blood and just some grit. But as I looked ahead, I noticed a pretty solid blood trail where he had ran. With that, I decided to back out, wait for the boys, and hope that we would be able to recover this buck that night. After waiting about 5 to 6 hours after the shot, we decided to take up the blood trail. With the blood trail starting out strong, we tracked it for about 100 yards until we had realized he had crossed the creek. With that, we decided to go home, get a boat, and come back in the morning and continue tracking.
All right, well, it is the next day, and we are headed to Luke's farm. Planning on just cutting to the chase when we get there, so we just want to give a little update. So we're heading out there. It's about 11:30, and it was pretty cool last night. We got to kind of get going because it's warming up, but we wanted to give him plenty of time. We crossed the creek. We know where we last have blood, and we're hoping that he beds down and he's dead, and the rest is history. Got anything else?
Hopefully we can find him. Hopefully he's not too far from where we stopped last night.
Yeah, so he can sleep. That's it. Alright, let's go find Sippi.
The next morning, Gage and I returned to the farm, crossed the river by boat, and picked up the blood trail again. At first we felt optimistic with how it was going, but soon blood became scarce and we were finding dry beds from the night before. Soon enough we were on our hands and knees, combing through the brush, looking for the next drop of blood. However, blood started to run out and we eventually resorted to grid searching the property. We grid searched for 3 full days looking for this deer, but eventually we had to call it. Several days after our last tracking attempt trying to find this buck, I received a text message from my neighbor with a photo attached asking if this was the buck we had been searching for. It was him. It was Sippi. I was so excited that I was finally going to be able to get my hands on his rack and be able to tag him. After all the uncertainty and effort, the journey that had felt so long finally came to a close. The story of Sippi is something I will never forget. Looking back, I thank God for great friends, neighbors, and the opportunity to experience his amazing creation every day. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos coming this fall. As always, we appreciate you tuning in, and remember, make it vital.